contacted a long time ago, and I'm so sorry that it took so long, but by my friend Greg, who started a company making pens called Bluestem Pens. And he has made a couple pens. This is one of them. The Prism. Prism. Okay, so not prison. It's not a prison pen. It's not shankable. Like it's not like that. Okay, Prism. Sorry. And it came a little box, which is cardboard. It's like compostable, but which I think is a really neat idea. So I have done that. So I can't show you the box. What I wanted to do today was go over that pen, show you the pen, do writing sample, talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. So let's get started. Okay, let's look at this Prism by Bluestem Pens right next to a Pilot Metropolitan, so you can kind of see the size, right? It's a little longer, but it's about that girth, I would say. These pens, made by Greg, they are kit pens, right? Some of the acrylics he makes himself. I want to say this was not one of them, but I could misremember that. So he does pour some of his own resins, which is nice. Couple of things about this kind of pen, because I think that's important to address. Many people make kit pens, and people make kit pens in different ways. So if you're not familiar with a kit pen, you basically buy all the parts. So you buy the cap, you buy the metal trims, basically you buy the nib and feet and the section, converter. But you make the barrel, and sometimes you make the cap. This happens to be a model where the cap is all metal, but you also have kit pens where you have to like turn something to create the cap yourself. So we have that. We have, as a finial, it's all metal. We have a clip that is nice and springy. We have the barrel, which is a nice acrylic. I like the way that looks. And we have a metal cap, which also posts, a magnetic cap, which also posts magnetically, which is kind of nice. We have a section that is very angular, and some people online said that looks very uncomfortable. I found it to be remarkably comfortable, in all honesty. And then we have an iridium point Germany nib, so it's a simple, straightforward steel nib, plastic feed. And we have a converter that feeds the pen. Let's have a look at how the pen writes. So here we have the Bluestem Pens Prism. It's definitely a fine nib. The ink is Waterman Blue. It sounds very scratchy, but that's because I'm writing on the back of my notebook cover here, and the camera always seems to pick that up. It is a nib with some feedback, but in all honesty, I would not call it scratchy. It is also a fine nib, so there will be a bit of feedback. But as you can see, it's a pretty nice wet writer. Especially for such a fine nib, I find it surprisingly wet, which is really nice. Line variation, there actually is some. Careful, because this is not marketed as a flex nib, but you can definitely squeeze out some line variation. And you can write in reverse as well. If you want a really, really fine nib, then that is possible. So I think this pen has a couple of nice things going for it. And I think we need to discuss what I like and what I don't like about this pen. Let's do it. Okay, what do I like, what do I not like about the Bluestem Pens Prism? It's a kit pen, and kit pens have a bad reputation in the fountain pen world, and I am not exactly sure why. I think a good kit pen can be a lot of fun. I own a kit pen actually that was gifted to me, and I own 2 kit pens that were gifted to me. I think an advantage of a kit pen is that it gives people an ability to express their artistry. Don't forget that the great Ryan Krusak of Krusak Studios started off making kit pens, and look at what he is making now, which in my mind is really, really solid, artistic pens, and at a reasonable price too. But this is not a review of Krusak, so I don't think there's anything wrong with a good kit pen, because it's a canvas, and a good artist can use that. And one thing that I really appreciate about these pens is that they are not too bulbous. A lot of kit pens, kit makers, sorry, I shouldn't say the kit makers, the people who use kit pens and then sell them, is that the barrels get very bulbous. They get very bulbous because this part gets turned on a lathe and it gets very, very bulbous. Look up kit pens, you'll see what I mean. I like that Greg has not done that, because it makes, in my mind, a very balanced looking pen. Nothing looks disproportionate. And I think that is the sign of someone who likes pens, because I know Greg has been watching my channel for a long time. Greg is someone who really likes pens, and I think that shines through. I think the pen, this model, has some cool gimmicks, like the magnetic cap, which also posts magnetically. It's kind of cool. It's neat, and it's a solid magnet too, as you can see here. It's a nice writer. It's a very fine nib. I don't know what else to say. I find it comfortable. I know that this angular section looks maybe weird to some people and looks like it might be uncomfortable. The edges are not sharp. It's comfortable, so I would recommend that. I think it's a pleasant writer. Downsides, I don't really have downsides, because this is something I hadn't mentioned yet. These pens are currently sold for $50, so $50. I think it's a fair price, given that someone has to turn the barrel, has to make it, sometimes makes the acrylic, that kind of stuff. I think it's a fair price. I see kit pens for $150, $200 now. I think this is a really fair price for what you get. It's a pen that writes solidly, and yeah, that's really all I can say about it. I think it's a solid pen. It's different because it's one artist's vision. You'll find other kit pens like this with the same magnetic cap and the same section, because that's the kit body, right? But having said that, I think this is a nice way to create these pens. It's solid, it's comfortable, metal parts, so it's pretty, it feels solid, and that's it. It's a nice pen. What can I say? I think it's well made. So, I hope this was useful. Bluestem pens, and I mean, you get everything, right? You get a fine medium steel nib, you get a converter included, you get a red-black cartridge, what did I say? I said converter is included. You get a red and a black cartridge for $50. Someone's work. I think it's fair. So, I hope this was useful. Thank you, Greg, for sending me this, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.